Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Music teachers, I'm so excited you are here today. I'm Gloria St. Germain from Ultimate Music Theory, and today is Teaching Tuesday. And today we're talking about intervals. So intervals are the distance between two notes, but sometimes what we see and what we hear, it can get confusing. So I thought I would break it down so that perhaps it'll be easier for your students to get as well. So share with me where you are from and what instrument are you teaching? Because regardless of whether you're teaching piano or voice or strings or even percussion, whatever it is that you're teaching, we still need to understand the language of music theory, however that applies to your instrument or voice. So let's get started because today we're going to learn about the karate chop. Are you ready for the karate chop of intervals? Okay, give me a yes in the chat. Awesome. Thank you for joining me. So today we're going to start with our treble clef and we're going to go from C to D. All right, so we're going to do three things: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. All right, so visual is what we see. So the first thing we see is we see the note C, right? I'll put C here, and D. So we'd say C, D, so that would be an interval of a second. Now, I want you to listen. So we did visual, C to D. Now we're going to listen, auditory. So have a listen. This is C, and we're going to D, right? Okay, so we could hear it. That's an interval of a second. That's called a major second. And you might say, I know that, Gloria, that's easy. Perfect. Let's write it down. We have a major second. So now we want to do the physical. So we've done our visual. We can see line to a space, auditory, we could hear it. And now we're going to do kinesthetic, when we're going to take C and we're going to put D beside it, as if we're on the keyboard. Now we're going to move into our next interval, and you can see D has become a flat, right? So if we look at it on the staff, C to D hasn't moved. It's still aligned to a space. What has changed is the accidental. So we're going to either make it a sharp or a flat or a double flat or a double sharp or something, but it's going to move, but it doesn't move on the staff. So what makes it easier to understand is if we use our karate chop. If we go C to D, we have a major second. If we go C to D flat, we have a minor second. So let's go ahead and write that in. We have a minor second. We did our karate chop method. So now we want to do our auditory. We want to have a listen to this, right? So remember, line to a space, right? Major second, line to a space, flat, the top note, which is the D. So we have a minor second. Now we want to listen. We're going to get our auditory. Okay, you could hear the minor second. Now, here's the confusing part. Sometimes when we're teaching intervals, right, we see things differently, even though they might sound the same, the big reveal. So now let's talk about C to C. Well, now we have two line notes of middle C. So that would be unison, correct? However, if we take C and the second note in the interval will become C sharp, right? We have raised it, but again, visually, they're both line notes on the same as in unison. So if we do our karate chop, we go from C, unison, to C sharp, the interval becomes larger. So it's not perfect in unison. In fact, it's an augmented first. So I want you to have a listen. Here is our C, and here's our C sharp. Did you notice anything? The fact that a minor second sounds like an augmented first. So they both sound the same, but they're written differently. Right? Got it? Okay, let's karate chop another one. Let's go to the second. So we have a major, we have a minor, and now what are we going to have? Let's go from C. We'll do our karate chop. C to D was major. C to D flat was minor. And C to D double flat would be diminished. So let's go ahead and write that in. Our little symbol of an O is diminished. So let's have a listen to this one. We have C to D. That was our major second. Then we had C to D flat. That was our minor second, also an augmented first, correct? And now we're going to go to the next one, which is C again. to D double flat. Ready? Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. What do you notice about that? If you play C and you play D double flat, it sounds like the same pitch. And in fact, it can be written differently, and we can go from C to C, which would be a perfect first or unison, right? So it's important that we see it written line note to line note. Middle C to middle C is the perfect first. We can hear it. We can also do our karate chop so that we can feel it. And it's important because sometimes it can get confusing. And I know many, vocal teachers or those that are teaching strings or other instruments other than piano, sometimes it's difficult to explain that we can see things one way and we can hear them. But if we do our karate chopping, the keyboard is simply a visual representation of the staff. So it's really important, regardless of what instrument you're teaching or voice, to kind of understand the keyboard, right? It's just a symbol of the connection between the staff and what we can hear. So let's do the next one. So we've got a third this time. So we've got C to E, which is a, let's hear it. Okay, major third. So now what happens if we take our C, do it with me, C to E is major, C to E sharp, we can see that it gets bigger because it's going up the staff, up the keyboard. So C to E is major, C to E sharp would become larger than major, which is augmented. So we're going to put our little major here and augmented. So let's take a look at our major third first. So from C to E is major. Okay, but what happens if we look at the interval of a fourth? If we look at C to F, and then if the F, which is a fourth, right, perfect, but if we have to flat the F, it becomes smaller. So visually, we're seeing a major third, and we're seeing a diminished fourth. So here's the diminished fourth, C2, F flat, here's a major third. Sounds the same, right? Same sound, same pitch, but written differently. Okay, one more. Are you ready? So now we're going to go from our augmented third, which was our C, to our E sharp, which is our augmented third, but also a perfect fourth from C to F. So there you have it. Sometimes it's easier if we can have these little tips and tricks, so you can do this with your student too. And if you're looking for more information and great teaching resources, just go to teachumt.com. Check out the Ultimate Music Theory Teachers Membership. We have amazing resources for you there. If you have any questions, just leave them in the chat box. Hashtag TeachUMT, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So hashtag TeachUMT. I'm Glory St. Germain from Ultimate Music Theory, and don't forget your karate chopping, right? So remember 3 things. Visually, we want to see it on the staff. Auditory, we want to hear it on your instrument or on the keyboard. And the third thing is kinesthetic, we want to do our karate chopping. So have fun. I hope you enjoyed our little Teaching Tuesday. And if you want to hear about some more topics, just leave me a little note in the chat and I'll make sure to cover them with you. Till next time, teach with passion. Bye now.